Today I want to see if I can dye a hand knit garment with hair dye. I have the Friday slipover v-neck by PetiteKnit, and as you can tell, the dye lot is quite inconsistent. This yarn is the alpaca by Sandnes Garn. It is 100% alpaca. It has a beautiful drape, it has a beautiful heft to it. It's very slippery, it's very soft, and it's also very inconsistent in the dye. This is all supposedly the same dye lot. I bought it secondhand sorted to make a garment for my partner for Christmas, and that ended up being okay. But this, with all the little bits and pieces and all the scraps, and especially here in the back, you can see quite extreme dye lot differences. The vest is quite cropped. I used every little bit of the yarn that I had left. I even included one little stripe of the beige yarn that I had as a contrast, and I want to see if I like it. So these are the hair dyes that I use to dye my hair. I don't want to dye my hair anymore, I want to grow it out. This is by Arctic Fox, Virgin Pink and Emerald Fortune, and I want to see if I can dye this a little bit more consistently. So I want it to be a little more warm toned, and I want it to be more even. To do that, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have a swatch to dye to try out, so we are going straight into it. So this hair dye is semi-permanent, and it is, as you can tell, semi adhesive. I've washed my hair with warm water for the last few months. In the beginning I just washed it with cold water to retain the hair colour as long as possible, and now I've just given up on that because I don't want to have brightly coloured hair anymore. But I know from experience that the dye is quite intense, so I diluted it quite a lot with a conditioner to get a more muted, toned down version of the colour. And I don't want it to be a reddish colour, I don't want it to be a greenish colour, I want to mix them to make a brown. I want it to be a bit of a deeper and fuller brown. So I think I'm going to start out with probably 2/3, 1/3, and mix that into hot water. Keep this, make sure this is wet to begin with. I've watched enough failed garment dye projects to know that you have to dip in your garment soaked to not get any patchiness. I want to get rid of the patchiness, I don't want to create any more, and I'm going to leave it there for a period of time. Then I will wring it out, wash it out, and dry it, and we'll see what happens. If I want to go back with any more dye, then I'll do that. This might be a multiple step process, but 2/3 pink, 1/3 green. Let's see what that gives me. This is now fully wet. Should I not wring out as much water as I just did? Whatever. And let's go. I'm now raw dogging this completely without safety measures for my precious hand knit sweater that I'm wearing. Does this feel quite reckless? Yes. Let's rinse that off. I should probably have worn my gloves for this. Well, it smells very nice, but this is far too purple, I think. Now I might have overdone it with the green. but we shall see. You know what? This is probably going to be fine. The colour is now quite dark bluish green. It's not purple anymore, which is better than to begin with. And now I'm just plopping this right in. I didn't use terribly hot water. This is like bath tub hot at best, but we'll see what happens now. It does smell very nice. So it's now just past 1. I will probably leave that there for 45 minutes, turning it, agitating it every once in a while so I don't get any pockets where the dye doesn't seep in. I massaged it quite vigorously so I would get everything saturated now, but that is the plan. The white or the beige bit is already looking quite blue, so I might have overdone it on the blue, but you will find out together with me. It's now a full 24 hours later, not that you would know because I'm still wearing the same shirt, because this is basically what I live in when I'm at home and when I'm outside of the home as well. But the sweater vest has now fully dried. It's been super sunny and this has just been laying out on the floor in the living room. That's the word I'm looking for. And it just dried and here we are. The colour, at least to the naked eye, looks a lot more cohesive. The stark band of other dye lot is a bit less noticeable. I can still tell that this is a bit darker than the rest of it, but honestly, I think it's what I wanted. This is as good as I could have expected it to go. The fuzz, the halo is a little less white, so it doesn't feel like it has that grey cast. And the bottom little white stripe, because of the greenish blue colour, actually looks more white than it did before, which I think also makes this brown look more brown. So far, really liking it. I'm now going to weave in the ends and I will come back with the final verdict. And we can find out if I like wearing a sweater vest at all. Also, this morning, just a tangent, I woke up in the best mood. The sun is shining, I'm in a happy mood, I've had a great weekend, and I woke up a full 45 minutes before my alarm went off. I'm working from home today, and I decided to make waffles for breakfast. It felt so indulgent, and it was so good. Waffles on a Monday, right? Before I show you the results, this would be a good time to subscribe to my channel because this is probably not the last time I get up to something like this. But here we are, finished, all ends woven in. It smells like the hair dye itself, which is quite perfumey. It's not a bad smell, but it is a smell. It's a scent. And normally I do not wear any scents on my clothing at all. All my washing liquid and stuff, detergent, is non-scented, so this does bother me a little bit. I wear perfume sometimes, but the fact that my clothes have a scent to them, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how it looks. Honestly, big fan. The colour evened out, that's what I wanted. I found the scrap, the rest of my beige yarn compared to the end that I cut off from this little stripe. So you can see that there is a definite colour change between the bluey and the more neutral warm leaning. And I hadn't really planned on it being so very blue, but compared to the rest of the slipover, it doesn't look very blue. It doesn't look as blue as it does on its own. So that is fine. I think the colour is quite even. I hope the camera doesn't tell me otherwise, that would be unfortunate. I'm a bit wary about wearing this with a white t-shirt. Will this bleed? Will this discolour my white t-shirt? I will find out, I will keep you updated. But for now, this is finished. It's perfectly wearable. I'm going to be wearing it for the rest of the day, probably, hopefully not staining this white t-shirt underneath. So this was a very fun little project. I wanted to do something. I didn't want to knit an entire garment. I didn't want to do a big home improvement project. I just wanted to tweak something and make it better. And now it's beyond what I could have expected. So very pleased with the results. Happy to have experimented. I think this experiment would have been more interesting if it had been a lighter garment, because now it feels like I just added a tiny bit of colour on top of a very dark base already, so it doesn't give as much of a result as it would have if I, for example, were to dye something fully in this colour. But I solved the problem. I didn't have to spend any money, which I'm happy about, and I now have a new finished object to wear. I'm going to track this as well as my other knits to see how much I actually wear it, because I wanted to see what actually gets a lot of wear. The sweater that you've seen twice in this video, or 3 times, is obviously one of the big contenders for most worn item of all times. Also, these jeans, 10 out of 10, I wear them basically every day, and I wanted to see what items I actually wear and what items of my own making I actually wear. So that is something that I'm sort of doing behind the scenes. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for leaving a comment. Have you dyed anything with hair dye? Should I be afraid for my white t-shirts? Let me know in the comments. I hope you have a great day. I had a great day. I am having a great day. Waffles make for such a good start to the day. Highly recommend. See you in the next one. Bye.